covered what in your world is going on. A British prime minister right now on the brink. A French president right now on the defense. A Chinese president right now on the warpath. And stocks, well, right now all over the map, all over the world. There is a reason why investors are so confused. So are the experts. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavitto, and Fox on Top, a volatility that just will not die down. And we've got you covered with Christina Partsinevelos on why investors are fidgeting, Kevin Corke on how the White House is responding, and Ashley Webster in London on why Brits are fretting. We begin with Christina. Christina.
What a day today, especially within that last hour. You saw a rally, the Dow coming back up, a gain of up to about 600 points, so closing the day in positive territory. The reason why we saw such negativity in the morning and a sell-off, you also had a report coming from China showing sharp slowdowns in Chinese export growth. And then more specifically, let's take a look at the Dow just over the past day. Today at around 10, you can see that 10:40 a.m. on your screen right there. That's when we found out that the Brexit vote would be postponed, so you saw a sell-off. Nonetheless, came back, charged forward. We saw a rally today in technology. Had a nasty week last week. The tech sector, FANG and Microsoft, as well as NVIDIA, they were down 10%. But today you saw that rally, despite the fact that with Apple, I want to focus on Apple for a second, there was a Chinese court today that ordered to stop selling, that is Apple to stop selling older iPhones because it possibly infringed on 2 patents revolved around Qualcomm. So you saw that rally in technology. However, you saw the shift moving away from the safety bets like treasury bills. So with the 10-year, if you take a look at that really quickly, you can see that the yield did climb to 2.86%, but over the last little while, it has been flattening, and that is a concern on slower inflation and slower economic growth. And then one news story, Neil, that just came out within the past hour. You have Under Armour down 4.4%. Why? The company has let go of 2 long-term marketing associates because they've been spending frivolously on gifts for athletes as well as nights out. And I'll end quickly on this. The defense sector saw a rebound because of a report from Politico stating that the president wants a $750 billion defense budget for 2020, but it still has yet to be approved. Back to you.
All right, Christina, thank you very, very much. The read on all of these cross currents from the White House, that's where you'll find our Kevin Corke. Hey, Kevin.
Neil, always good to be with you. A lot of people in Washington talking about the specter of impeachment. And while it is clear, it could certainly spook investors, given the president's resilience, Neil, and we frankly have seen this on numerous occasions here in Washington, it's possible that the White House and investors for that part could shake it all off as we look ahead to 2019. But clearly the end of 2018 has proven incredibly volatile, to say the least. Now, a lot of this unrest, Neil, comes on the heels of that Mueller team report. You know, the charging document involving the president's former fixer, Michael Cohen, who is said to have coordinated, quote, hush payments to quash allegations of an affair by then private citizen Donald Trump that happened over a decade ago. Let me share a bit of what Jerry Nadler, the incoming leader here for the Democrats on the judiciary, is going to say about this today. He said certainly they are impeachable offenses, talking about those payments, because even though they were committed before the president became president, they were committed in the servants of fraudulently obtaining the office. Now, clearly that is debatable. A lot of people think that's nuts, including a lot of folks here at the White House. Meantime, Neil, they are urging investors, listen, stop, pause, look at the metrics. They say they point to a very robust time for this American economy.
We've got very, very strong labor market. We've got GDP surging around 3%. We've got a capital spending boom, just like we said. And so all the fundamentals are strong.
Fundamentals are strong. I want to run some names by you, Neil, while I have a moment. These are the folks that are said to be under consideration to replace outgoing General John Kelly, the White House Chief of Staff, who, of course, is retiring at year's end. You see the names are Meadow, Levine, Whitaker. Very interesting. I want to just share a bit of what Mark Meadows had to say about his name being floated. He said, listen, serving as Chief of Staff would be an incredible honor. He goes on to say the president has a long list of qualified candidates. I know he'll make the best selection for his administration and for the country. You saw that Randy Levine picture there. I got to share part of his statement, bit of out of left field. See what I did there? He said, I have spoken to nobody about the Chief of Staff job. I have great respect for the president, but am very happy being the president of the Yankees. As a Yankee fan, I'm happy to hear that. Go back to you.
That is just bizarre.
It is.
All right, thank you very, very much, my friend Kevin Corke at the White House. Well, remember in London and in England was a big story about 2.5 years ago when the world was surprised to hear that most Brits wanted out of the European Union. That was 2.5 years ago. So what took so long? And what's dragging on? Today, signs from the British Prime Minister Theresa May that the votes are not there to get support for the package that she had planned to exit finally from the European Union. No one knows what happens next, just that she's in trouble, Brexit looks dicey, and the world is a mess. Who better to keep on top of it than Ashley Webster in London? What happened, Ashley?
You paint quite a picture, Neil, don't you? But you're absolutely right. What happened? Well, Theresa May finally had to admit she didn't have enough votes to get her Brexit deal passed in the building behind me. It was a horrible admission. She had said right up to the last moment, no, I'm going ahead with this vote. She was finally persuaded you're going to be embarrassed if you go ahead. So she decided to, quote, defer that vote. Tonight, she's getting ready to head to the Netherlands tomorrow. She's going to meet with the Dutch Prime Minister, try and rally support among some of the EU members. Then on Thursday, she goes to Brussels to meet with EU leaders and say, come on, guys, give me something that I can bring back to my parliament and get it approved. The only problem with that plan is the EU has stated very clearly, and again tonight, we have no interest in renegotiating. The deal we gave you is the deal you've got. You got to live with it. So what does that mean? It means very, very difficult times for Theresa May. She's fighting for Brexit, but as we've said earlier, she's also fighting for her own political life. There could very well be a call of no confidence in her sometime this week by the opposition Labour Party led by Jeremy Corbyn. Bottom line, Neil, as you said, more than 2 years ago, 52% of people here in Britain voted to get out of the European Union. Still, 2+ years later, we're still no further forward than since that vote was taken. It's very frustrating for all involved, and it is an issue that's divided families, communities, and that building behind me, and no easy solution in sight.
You know, and then, Ashley, there's what's going on in France, and that president trying to contain the mess. I mean, Europe collectively looks kind of crazy. What's going on there?
It really does. And, Emmanuel Macron going on national television tonight to try and, well, firstly, calm the nerves, tamp down the violence that's been seen every weekend for the last 4 weekends in Paris. Terrible destruction, thousands of people arrested. Whether he did enough, I guess we'll find out this weekend. He certainly ate a huge slice, if not 2 slices of humble pie, reversed some of his policies on taxes and said, listen, I understand your pain and I'm sorry I took so long to take action. The question is, was it enough? Did he really get to the heart and soul of the French people tonight? Again, well, I guess we'll find out this weekend, but he is certainly another European leader fighting for his political life.
All right, outstanding reporting, my friend, all day long across the Fox News and Fox